Hello, everyone. Welcome to day 2 of Design on Purpose with the Mentor Me Collective. Super excited to have you all here. Please go ahead and drop in the comments where you all are tuning in from. We are so excited to have each and every one of you here. Right before we get started, we're going to go ahead and, y'all. All right, and we're back. Um, right before we get started, I just want to go over a couple of things and a couple of announcements. For those of you who were not here yesterday, we talked a little bit about just the Etsy shop that we have. We talked about the giveaway that we're doing. There's a lot of cool things happening. So just make sure that you are staying tuned when it comes to all things design on purpose. So again, I'm just getting ready to share my screen real quick, and we're going to hop right on in. All right. So again, welcome to Design on Purpose. Happy Black History Month to everyone. We're so excited to just show you and allow you to interact with these amazing Black technologists that are literally at these amazing companies doing really great work. For starters, we want to let you know that we are a wonderful faith-based company that really specializes in personalizing mentorship, talent discovery, and also creating a global impact. So if you are looking for a tech mentor, if you're looking for a mentorship in any space, whether that is design, engineering, PM, project, product, or even program management, and or even data science, please go ahead and head to our website because we are getting ready to launch an amazing program that is for free, a 3-month free specified mentorship program that has a whole lot of different things into it. I guess intertwined is what I wanted to say, but also allows you to have one-on-one guidance with also other mentors as well from all of these other companies. So you'll also be in groups. It's going to be an amazing program. So go ahead and head to our website, the mentormecollective.org. There we go. Click on mentorship in the upper navigation bar, and it will allow you to go ahead and apply to become a mentee. So we're super excited about that. More information, stay tuned. We're literally launching this in the coming weeks, but because you guys tuned in today, you all are getting exposed to this earlier than everyone else. So you get first dibs. Also, we want you to take a moment to share this. If you are on LinkedIn, if you're viewing this also on Facebook, on YouTube, go ahead and share that with your community. I think there's like a little arrow in the section right underneath this video where all the reactions are, and you can go ahead and share. Let folks know in your community that we are going live and that they are going to have the opportunity to interact with an amazing UX engineer at an awesome company as well. Again, we have some announcements. If you want to make sure that you do not miss any of the updates coming up when it comes to the rest of the events that we're having this week and next, go ahead and text MMC to 866-901-1914. And we definitely want to make sure that you stay tuned with that. Again, we will only be texting you when we have events and when they go live, and also for our giveaways, which we're going to talk about in just a moment. Again, our Etsy shop is live. It is live and in color. I ordered some stuff myself, and I had this bomb tumbler, y'all. It is super bomb. Look, yo, it's the size of my face. It's super cool. This is one of the designs that we have. We also have on the back, it says hashtag Black History Month. It is literally stainless steel, and it is from Polar Camel. So this is one of the tumblers that we have, and they have so many different designs. We also have t-shirts as well. This is one of our designs here. It's an amazing quality shirt as well. So, let me come over here. It says Hope, the Mentor Me Collective here as well. And it also has a scripture. And also on the back, it has the hashtag Black History Month as well. We have so many different things from computer stickers, blankets, chow, the whole enchilada. So if you're interested in grabbing some exclusive Black History Month merch and you want to support Black-owned business, you can go ahead and do that. Again, funds will go towards our fundraiser to help Black and Latinx folks get into tech and help them purchase software and devices as well. Like I said earlier, we have a Black History Month giveaway. So as you attend all of the sessions, we're going to have a quiz at the end, and the top 4 people who score the highest have the opportunity to get one of these items. So either one item from our merch shop on Etsy for free, we'll ship that out to you. Anything that you want, one item, we'll do that. We also are going to give away a HomePod Mini. Not the Apple Watch itself, but the Unity Black History Month band. So I couldn't find the band decal. I mean acid. So this is what I mean by that. And then also the Hydrate Spark water bottle, smart water bottle. It lets you know how much ounces of water you need to drink in order to lose maybe like a certain amount of weight or just stay hydrated. You also can compete with friends and family as well. And it also links to all of your smart devices too. So one of my favorite water bottles, honestly, that I have. And so I definitely want to go ahead and share that with you as we're focusing on health all around. Again, to enter our giveaway, we want to make sure that you attend all of our sessions. So you'll notice here that, again, in order for us to know that you're at our sessions, you need to go to our photo booth, which we have a QR code that will take you directly there. We also have space for you to go ahead and, again, grab your pencils. We want you to make sure that you're taking notes and that you're really absorbing all this information, because anything in this presentation is fair game. It's fair game for the quiz, okay? So definitely want to make sure that you're leaned in. The quiz is going to be sent through the text message. So please make sure that you subscribe to our text messages as well. MMC, text MMC to 866-901-1914. Again, that's MMC to 866-901-1914. And then last but not least, we do want to make sure that you're connected with us on all social media platforms: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and of course, LinkedIn. So make sure if you're already here, go ahead and click follow. Absolutely. Here is the QR code. Ooh, child. Here is the QR code that goes ahead and takes you directly to our photo booth to take some pretty awesome photos. We had a lot of folks go ahead and submit their photos yesterday from our Product Design 101 session. Here is myself, the COO, in the black frame, and then also a wonderful, wonderful participant in the yellow frame. So you guys can go ahead and go on there. Again, this is a virtual photo booth, and you can add a sticker that lets us know which session you were a part of. So as you can see, I added the Product Design 101. Hopefully for this session, you'll go ahead and click UX Engineering 101 as well. We already talked about grabbing your pens and pencils. Just make sure you're taking notes. And then obviously we talked about staying connected. So now for the main event, the man himself, honey, the great Polycore. He is absolutely fantastic. I've had an opportunity to connect with him, and he is amazing. His belt, his plethora of knowledge that he has underneath his belt when it comes to design in both front end development engineering and also within design with user interfaces is amazing. He does an awesome job within the realms of design as well within his company. And so I'm just super excited to bring him up to the stage in literally just a moment. So welcome to the stage, Polycore.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing amazing. I'm doing so amazing. Honestly, as I said, as you can see, I'm super excited. We've connected recently, and I'm super excited to share you all with the platform. I mean, you are absolutely phenomenal in the work that you're doing, how you give back as well, and just your energy. So I would love for you to tell us briefly, like, how did you get started in this space?
Oh, it's gonna be. I'll keep it short, but so
Okay.
pretty much to get into tech in general, a lot of those started in freshman year of college. So I was undecided my freshman year and was mostly experimenting, finding out stuff to do, and slowly learning about tech. I was like, there's so much you could do with this. You could go into gaming, you could go into video editing, you could go into design, you could go into software. So working with my advisor, then I started taking some programming courses. And then after taking my first programming course, which I failed, realized like, okay, this field is going to be challenging, but not to give up. So slowly started learning, taking on different roles, did some QA stuff, and started slowly learning about software, and then working with software engineers. I started learning more like, okay, I want to do what they do. So slowly did some internships, and then now I'm here and working at Google as a UXC.
That is amazing. Now, a lot of folks know the front end engineering, but this is a really unique role that Google has really been spearheading and taking to the next level. So I'm excited to have you share, give us the tea on what the role is and what that encompasses, and also maybe outside of NDAs, spill a little bit about what that also entails in terms of day-to-day life. So I am going to go ahead and pass it on over to you. Thanks so much again, and I hope you all are leaning in and tuning into his awesome presentation. Bye, Polycore.
Thank you. All right. Hi, everyone. Well, my name is Palikap Kwaku, and I'm a UXC at Google. And today I'll be sharing my experience and journey through tech and talking more about the UXC role, how to get started, and what you'll be experiencing if you decide to go this route and become a UXC in tech. So I'll give a quick brief overview of my experience. And this is pretty much my journey into tech. I didn't really have any mentor or anyone that I spoke to when I wanted to start in tech. I was just a kid out of the Bronx, went to college, and now I have to pick a major. So I was like, all right, what can I do? So I started pretty much learning about some of my interests. I knew I liked working with computers and also enjoyed just pretty much I knew working with I like working with computers and design. So I was like, how do I find a happy medium between that two? So working with my advisor my freshman year, we worked through a lot of different majors that I could take. So I started taking a CS course, and it was my first intro to programming outside of high school. So I did that and slowly started learning more about careers in tech. So my first internship was a QA engineer, and I was mostly working with just testing software, working with software engineers and testing the software that they've built. And slowly through that internship, I realized I want to be the person that builds the software and not necessarily the person that's testing it. So my next internship, I did backend development, mostly working with database. I took a lot of SQL and database courses, so that really helped me understand the ecosystem of software, especially working with backend engineers and just working with data, and then interacting with front-end engineers, and slowly started learning more about. There's a piece of software engineering where you can work with design and code. So that was my me learning about my happy medium. So my next internship, I decided to go for more roles that were design oriented and also coding. So my next role was mostly working with mobile and web development, and I was dealing with hybrid frameworks. So Ionic is a hybrid framework which works on web and mobile devices. So you'll be coding in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And so through that internship, I started to build more confidence in my skill sets, learning more design tools, also prototyping skills and coding skills as well. And come graduation, I had to start applying for roles. I applied for a lot of software engineering roles initially, which because that was what I wanted to do. But I ended up finding this unique role called product designer, which is pretty much similar to UXC. I think UXC has a lot of unique names. Some people call it creative technologist, some people call it product designer. So I decided to apply for that role. It was a role at IBM. And for the initial role, we did a boot camp. I think it was a 6-month boot camp. And I went through a lot of design exercises and working with other developers and designers and product managers, and slowly started learning more about the ecosystem of software, where how a software goes from ideation, sketches, design, wireframes, learning all that process and working with coding as well. So slowly, I was in that role for a bit, I think a year or two, and then transitioned to become a software engineer at IBM, which pretty much I've pivoted back and forth between software and product design. And so in that role, I pretty much worked primarily on consumer products. So a lot of the features I worked on were features that users will be using. And slowly after that, I wanted to take on my next role. So I landed by the UXC role at Google. And initially, I mostly just aligned my skill sets to the job description. And there was a few things I didn't really take on the job description, but I was like, let me just give it a shot and interview for it. So after interviewing for that role, I decided to pretty much pursue that path. So I'm a UXC now at Google, and I'll for the rest of the presentation, I'll be talking about the role and really what it entails. So a UXC is simply a user experience engineer, and a lot of the things that a user experience engineer does is mostly between working with designers and engineering. So we typically bridge the gap between design and engineer. We know how to communicate effectively with designers, and we know how to communicate effectively with engineering. So when there's a misalignment, we're like the best people to go to where we could bridge that line of communication together. And a lot of UXCs are very product and user focused. That was a key thing that I really needed in a role. I didn't necessarily want to be the person that developed services that people consume. I wanted to be the person that worked on features that users interacted with, understood how users interacted with the products, their pain points, aligning features to solve those pain points. That was very rewarding to me. So I started to really go for roles that tackle that. And also we, as a UXC, we understand the language of design and code. So we UX is typically versed in a lot of programming languages because we tend to move around a lot and experiment a lot. There's a lot of experimentation in UXC. And also, one thing that's very rewarding about UXC is you get to develop prototypes and iterate quickly. it's mostly a system where you're trying to constantly get feedback and improve on this feedback and go back and show the user something new. So you're always trying to impress the user based on what they say or what they want, and trying to understand what they really want based on the prototypes you make. So that's a summary of the UXC role and some of the many hats it entails and skill sets that someone in UXC role will have. So what is UXC engineering? So or UX engineering. So a lot of design teams or software teams companies have siloed spaces where UX design and software engineering is siloed, where they work in their own domain and then something gets transferred or hand off to the other. So a UX design team will work on design of features for software engineering team, and they'll provide a final handoff after a sprint, and then the software engineering team will implement those features. And one of the key things that fails in this model is that as a as the sprint goes by, a lot of the feedback is not heard from software engineering on if some of the features that UX design is proposing is feasible in the code. So a lot of things get misaligned where software engineering could need a data point in the design that's not necessarily available, and that could slow down the design implementation. So UXC fits right in the middle of these two groups. So we bridge the gap between UX design and software engineering because we could easily fit into the role of a UX designer or of a UX design realm where we could understand the tools being used, we could understand the ideas being made, and we could also look at the code base and talk to the engineering team and understand which parts of the design is feasible. Especially there's been cases where a UX design team will provide a pretty much a visual or a graph, which is not necessarily feasible because there isn't a key data point there in the design or in the engineering side that could solve that problem. And so the next question is pretty much what does a UX engineer accomplish on a product team? And I will quickly go through some of this here. Ideation. UX engineers are we're pretty much involved in the whole design cycle of the product. So when it comes to ideating, pretty much working with UX researchers on defining usability goals and also ideating solutions and coming up with pain points, we fit in that mode. So we start from the initial phase of the product. So let's say we're working on a feature to have users create their own favorite items on a shopping cart. One thing UXC would do in that is to start looking at which parts of how feasible the technically how feasible it is in the design, and also provide those feedback to the UX researchers so they could scope how far their ideas could go and also what kind of issues they could tackle. And when it comes to design, UXCs are also involved in the design process. Sometimes we work with designers to come with user flows. And this picture is just an example of some things I've done in my internship where we were creating this app to deal with geolocation data for people who be coming into an office. And once they enter a fence area, it will trigger an animation or a welcoming message. So I work with a designer on the team to come up with a flow, which follows the typical flow for the user to use the app. And then I work on some sketches and then started to create wireframes. And then those wireframes became the final design. And this is something that a UXC does. So UXCs wear many hats. Some UXCs could be design focused, where they really focus on working on more design tools and also prototypes. Or you could have a UXC that's more code focused, which means you'll be developing prototypes in code and working on the coding side of prototypes easily. But another accomplishment for UXCs on the team is dealing with prototypes. So UXCs primarily develop prototypes that could be used for user testing. And sometimes there's a distinction between how the prototype is built. There's prototyping tools that you could use. I think Figma has prototyping built into it that you could use to develop prototypes for user testing. Also, you could make coded prototypes as well, which is pretty much using just HTML, CSS, and JS and creating a prototype that could be quickly used for user testing. And one of the benefits of quickly prototyping with UXCs is that we get to skip the part where we actually build something that doesn't necessarily solve a problem for the user. So we skip the process of building a design, building a whole entire suite of features for engineering to implement. And after implementation, we realize based on analytics or use data back from users that the feature doesn't solve their problems and it's just creating more. They're finding workarounds around the actual feature. So prototyping is the key thing that UXCs bring value to on the team. And starting your journey. Let's see. So one key thing I'll say is mentorship. I didn't realize how powerful mentorship is until I look back on my journey and realized I didn't necessarily have dedicated mentors, but there were some people who were very key in encouraging me to keep going, keep learning, and also dealing with imposter syndrome, which happens often if you join a new company or join a new team where you have to learn new things or catch up on things. So having good mentors around you will really reinforce positive characteristics that you have and also keep you going and help you step out of your comfort zone to learn new things. And also decide on the type of domain you'll be interested in. I think one thing people don't really take into account in UXC is that there's a lot you could do. UXC, being a UXC is not necessarily limited to just web. You could do Android development, you could do iOS, VR, IoT devices, especially if you want to work on Internet of Things devices, smartwatches, Alexa, and Google Home products. And also learning a programming language. A lot of UXCs, as a UXC, you could prototype without code, but it's beneficial to learn programming language, especially starting with the basics of the domain you're interested in. So if you're iOS, probably Swift. If you're web, HTML, CSS, just start. And also learning some UX design principles, especially around spacing, color, accessibility, affordances. Pretty much learning those principles will help you in pretty much coming with how to structure your code or structure prototypes and even your ideas, how to design them and get them onto paper. And also build a portfolio. It's a great thing to have a body of work that you could show your skill set and range. So work on different ideas and also if you sketch things, take a picture of them and document them because sketches are part of being a UXC. Sometimes we don't necessarily have to use a computer. You could just use a pen and paper and just start sketching ideas down, writing ideas down, and just showing that to people. And that's how a lot of ideas start. So sketching is always a good thing. And mastering a prototyping tool or design tool. So Figma is currently popular, so I'll likely recommend that. And that's a free license, so you could just get started, get used to the UI interface, designing different interfaces in them. And also one way to really work on your skills is to take any app that you like and see ways you could improve that user experience. And you could take even a flow. So let's say a login flow for Twitter, and you want to improve that. You could just start prototyping that, develop a design for it, and slowly just start building your knowledge and skill set that way. So that is the end of my presentation. If you're interested in learning more, put my LinkedIn here and you could just shoot me a message. If I there's some time in my day, I'll just respond quickly, provide resources that you need to learn more outside of this presentation. And thank you.
Thank you so much, Polycore. That was absolutely fantastic. Y'all, he was so amazing. And also, I just want to let you all know that we are going to give time for Q&A. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat. I think I'm going to start with my first question. I love how you said to master a prototyping tool. Do you have a favorite or do you have a vast number of tools that you use on the daily or even in your personal time?
I've used a few in the past, and I think currently the one that I use the most is just the prototyping tool in Figma, because Figma you could use you could do variants and a few things in Figma. So Figma is like the primary one I use, and for animations, I try to mostly code animations. So sometimes I'll just be using CSS animations and web animations just to get some animation ideas down.
That is so cool. So Figma definitely is one that you use quite often. And then also you said in terms of like animations, you use CSS as well. CSS animations. Okay, that's really, really dope. You also mentioned in your presentation that mentorship was a huge part of your journey. And especially to like the level of success that you've been able to get. I would love for you to lean into that a little bit more, as that is something that we definitely promote and advocate for, especially within the Black community when it comes to careers in tech.
Oh, okay. Yeah. One thing is that I didn't really go out to seek mentors, which now I do more of. Now I'm actually conscious about going out and seeking mentors because I realize the value in having a good mentor. And most of the time, it's mostly just through my internships and also my advisors. So having those people there who asking them questions about things and then providing the answers was really helpful. And a lot of the key mentor that I had was during my internship. That was actually when I started to feel more confident in going this route because I didn't really feel confident in my skill set. And I think through some of the products and stuff I worked on during that internship, just him saying that you have something that I think you could really benefit from and just encouraging me to keep pursuing this path. And I think has been very reinforcing of like some of the things that I'm good at and sticking to it. So I think having a good mentor that reinforces your positive attributes is really great. It just keeps you going. When days where you feel like there's a problem you can solve, you're like, no, I can figure it out. We just take a few days or a few tries. So definitely seek out mentors. Yeah.
I love that so very much. And I love also that you talked about now, it's a really big part of you, like just kind of taking initiative. I think sometimes that might make folks a little nervous because we don't know how people are going to receive us. So, do you have any tips or tricks that you use when it comes to pursuing mentorship or initiating those conversations?
Oh yeah. One thing is I start very casual. It's mostly just reaching out with an email, ask a question, and asking them just if they have like an hour or even 30 minutes, just 15 minutes is even still, you could get a lot in 15 minutes, just asking them one question and slowly developing that relationship there, just saying they have a few things. Pretty much you've seen their resume and they have a few things that they've done that you really want to do something similar. And you want to talk to them just to learn more about the experience and what they've done to get where they're at, and then asking them what tools they've used in the past to help them, and slowly just building that relationship. And the other time is just cold reaching out on LinkedIn. You could just search a role and see a lot of people in those roles, and just cold reaching out that way in LinkedIn. And you could just, if you message 10 people and one response, that's still good.
I love that you said that because that's actually how I met Polycorp. I was literally looking for just honestly Black engineers that are doing really great things at certain companies, and I found Polycorp, and I was like, "Ciao, I'm going to shoot my shot." And look at how beneficial that shot was now moving forward. So I'm definitely a huge advocate in folks just cold reaching out because you never know, and definitely going back to your point with the numbers game. So at least if you reach out to 10, even if one or two responds, that's good. So sometimes maybe doing a mass messaging or whatever to a lot of different people on LinkedIn. And the people who respond, I always say, are the people that are meant to be connected and aligned with you. So I absolutely love that. I want to kind of gear it towards, because we have a lot of feedback. I know we can't see it on our end, but on in the chat in LinkedIn, a lot of folks are saying how beneficial the session was. For instance, Renee, who said the session was super insightful, and she's going to do more research into learning a little bit more about UX engineering. Elizabeth also said, as someone with a development background, she's looking to make more moves into design, and UXC sounds amazing. So she's excited to have come to the session with you, Polycore. So how does that make you feel, like, with all of this positive feedback and folks now getting to learn this new role? How does that make you feel in terms of like what you might want to continue to pursue and do moving forward?
It makes me excited because I think we need more diversity in this role. Because I think primarily, even at Google, there's still initiative to get more diverse perspective in UXC. So that it's still like, I think, close to 400 people in the role. So it's still very small. And it makes me excited that there's more people interested, because I think design is a large space. A lot of design problems have been solved, but it's been solved the same way. And I think bringing different minds and different expertise in it will create different solutions now. And also the space of VR and metaverse and all those things. So having really good designers and UXCs in there would be very exciting.
I love that. And we got a question in of someone asking to see a little bit more of the work that you've done in the past. Now, I have had the opportunity to snoop around your Dribble and all the things and just see all the cool things that you have done with animations and just all kinds of different types of design and styles. So, would you be comfortable with dropping those links for folks to kind of follow the work that you've done, or maybe even demo or share your online portfolio? I know this is me putting you on the spot. I'm so sorry about that.
No, it's okay. I didn't really, because I still internally I can share certain things,
Mhm.
so I can mostly share my portfolio.
Would love that. I think that would be super dope. And for all of y'all who are excited to see that, you can go ahead and drop some fire emojis in the chat. And feel free again to connect with Polycore, who also is on LinkedIn. So I'll go ahead and share his link to down below as well as he continues to do that, or as he continues to pull up his portfolio. Bam,
Okay.
there it is.
All right. So I would say a few things. This portfolio is pretty old, but I really kept it simple because I didn't want anyone to be distracted by too much. So there's a project section which lists some of the projects I've worked on, and then there's artwork, which is just something I do as a hobby. So this is just artworks I've done. And for the projects, this is the community project that I work on with my friends. It's Overs. We just help indie artists promote their music. It's an entire website that I worked on. And on Cinema, it's a small project where I just wanted to learn about React and just learning about animations, web animations. Let's see.
Wow. And did you use like your prototyping tools that you did for this as well? Was this all on Figma too?
So initially with the design, this was pretty old. So I used Photoshop for the design, and then the final one I used code to get the animations working. So this one was mostly just to test different animations and see how applications can use different loading schemes instead of just having a spinner. So this was mostly exploring that experience. And then there's some hover animations, and then click does this. And also this has a backend component to it. So it was mostly exploring just the entire, it's like a microcosm of just an entire life cycle of developing a product. So dealing with the idea, dealing with gathering data, dealing with the design, dealing with different sketches and wireframes, and then coding the actual design and then implementation. So this is like a project where I wanted to work on those skills. So one thing that I like to do with some of my projects is to work on um, multiple skill sets. So I have other projects that I worked on similar skill sets as well. And this one is just dealing with someone's a public API, so the GitHub API, it's just
Oh
consuming data
wow.
there. And this one is a shopping cart. This one I did in college. It's just PHP, so I still left it there
Wow.
because no one really PHP is like pretty popular language. So just working with PHP and working with
This is
SQL database.
incredible.
And yeah, so that's like the gist of my portfolio. There's still more things, but I haven't really started publishing them yet.
That's amazing. So I noticed how just previously you said you like to work on specific skill sets when it comes to certain projects. For this project, Ilverse, which is absolutely fantastic, what were some of the core things that you wanted to work in or work on specifically?
Oh man, that project is pretty big. So
Wow.
for one, I wanted to learn a new framework. So I chose Angular, which I've never used, and I wanted to learn TypeScript, and I wanted to learn Redux. I wanted to learn new concepts in engineering. So I decided to use those tools because it's pretty much a personal project, and I could do things that I want to do. So no one is really forcing me to stick to a certain way of doing it. And for the database, I think I use Postgres. So I use a database as well. So learning about gathering data, modeling databases, schemas. So I did that as well. And also analytics. I think that's a key thing in UXC that is so often overlooked. It's pretty much how to gather data and determining the type of data you want to gather. So learning about those skill sets as well, learning about Google Analytics, how to track interactions on your website, how to see how the user flow on your page changes based on setting users interactions, and also fall off and drop off points. So working on that was really rewarding. It took like, I think it was like a 3-month project. I did it outside of work. So it was just something slow. I didn't really rush it, just did it when I had time. And now I don't even update it anymore. There's like a few bugs on it, but I'm like, I'll probably fix it one weekend. So
Wow, that's so cool. So there's a lot of things that you just said, and even before I go into the next question, we have so many great feedback, so much feedback, great feedback, I should say, on the front end side. A lot of people just throwing up fire emojis. They're saying like this is super dope, super nice, all that kind of stuff as well. So definitely wanted to just let you know that feedback. But specifically, when you talk about data, again, like this is something that folks sometimes think don't correlate to specific areas within design, so or even engineering, or even as a UXE. So I would love to kind of hear about how did you take on the task of learning Google Analytics and things like that, and kind of rope that into the products that you were prototyping or developing on your own personal time.
one thing that I did is mostly approach it from a project management standpoint. So pretty much scaffolding the project and deciding what would make this project be deemed successful. So if we have X amount of users, if we have users upload this many songs, if we have users promote this many content, so setting those thresholds and then deciding, all right, how do we for each one of these, how do we meet those goals, and then starting from there. So it's mostly determining where we want to go and then getting pretty much catering the application to get there. So it was a slow process and it was mostly me doing it. So one thing I think is bad in that I didn't really get a second person perspective if I'm actually gathering the right things. So in a way, it's kind of, it might be biased towards my own perception of what is deemed quality wise or pretty much deemed successful. And I think doing it that way, it kind of just, it doesn't help me work on the team aspect of it, but it just helps me work on my own skill sets where if I join a team, I can just say, this is how I approach it. And then if someone has a different way of approaching it, we could see which any similarities, any benefits we have with each other. So
That
that was
is
the,
so
yeah.
dope. That's so dope. We had a question just come in here, and before we even get to that, I think it's really cool. I feel like you're a one man team and one man army. Like you are just the 500 army, just Sparta. But we have a question from Michelle Gabriel. She says, "Can you talk a bit more about how the UX engineering role works with the UX researcher role?" That's a good question.
Okay. So with currently in my role, actually, I work with a lot of UX researchers, and a lot of times what we do is we find a pretty much we'll take a problem statement. So the user wants to be able to do these things quickly. And we'll decide, all right, so this is the problem statement. How do we discover what the pinpoints are in this problem statement? And a lot of those research stuff is a UX researcher that's leading them. And as a UXC, I'm providing my own input based on pretty much I think every role has a different thinking model. I think UX researchers approach it more holistically, where they're looking at everything, the more focused on the user, not necessarily thinking about tech, data, how certain things will be possible. And as a UXC, I'm coming in with the engineering mind and design mind, where I'm like, okay, this is what we could do, this is what we could push, this is the scope we could set. Because there's certain things where a UX researcher might come up with different approaches to the user testing. And as a UXE, you have to decide, all right, if this is the research approach we're going, this is the kind of tools we could use to prototype it, and this is the time. So, and also working with a UX researcher, you help with scoping tasks. So you could set like, all right, then we could do it could be a low fidelity prototype where it's not too detailed. Not everything is, users can interact with everything, but you could pretty much scope the prototype into much more catered towards like the time. So you can do that as a UXC, and then the UX researcher will be providing guided questions and helping you pretty much. Both of you will be working entwined to make sure the research session goes well. Because I think a lot of times UX researchers will guide the research session, and then as a UXC, you're mostly in the back just observing and seeing how the user interacts with the products. And then if there's any changes you have to make, you go back and you make it. And then you could tell the UXC, also the UXR, that maybe there's a question that they should ask to nudge the user towards the same action, and then working on that iteratively.
Wow, that's so cool. Michelle, I hope that answered your question. Really awesome example about the liaison relationship that UXs hold, not only within like design in terms of like the specific like interface designers and the engineers, but also with the research. I think that's super cool. In that same perspective, I would love to hear, because you talked a little bit about project management. And I assume that maybe you work closely with them as well. So I would love to kind of hear how you've taken on that hat and absorbed those skill sets in order to kind of further the pursuits and your growth.
Oh, let's see. I'll say mostly just um, setting, pretty much setting project goals. That's one thing project management teaches well. So working with them, you start to learn how you to scaffold different features you'll be working on, and also how your cycle testing will go. So a lot of times you could prioritize certain things based on their feedback, which is very impactful on getting things done quickly. So one of the things is to align your prototypes with a release on what engineering will be getting out. So primarily in my role, I mostly work on internal tooling between designers and engineers. So if I work with project management, it's mostly making sure some of the tools that I'm releasing or features I'm releasing is on a pretty much it meets a time basis, and also making sure we have OKRs and meeting those OKRs as well.
Wow, that is super dope. Super, super dope. And obviously taking those skill sets now and all your other projects has really helped you with kind of streamlining and figuring out like, okay, what do I want to focus on? I think that's
Yes.
also really cool too. So it looks like being a UXC means that, you got to be super curious, open
Yes.
to learning, reading, and absorbing new knowledge. Um,
Yeah.
and
Also
also,
experimenting a lot.
now that's also really cool too.
Yeah.
I think the last question I'm going to ask you before I let you enjoy the rest of your night.
Mhm.
One last thing. I love how you obviously talked about like the more technical skills, I should say. I would love for you to tell us a little bit more about the soft skills, the stakeholder skills that help you all to continue to have healthy environments with communication, and also making sure that as you all collaborate, it's in a really great environment in doing that as well. So managing all these different personalities, how do you do that?
I'll say be open to feedback.
Mm.
And that's something I'm slowly working on myself as well, especially understanding what feedback is and how to take it. Because sometimes people might be communicating in a way that wouldn't necessarily sound good to you. So it's like just asking further questions when someone tells you something. Pretty much understand, like, try to understand what the feedback actually means and why they're saying it, instead of just taking it as feedback and just going with it. So understanding follow-up questions on when you're giving feedback, and also just being more open to different perspectives. I think sometimes as a UXE, you stick to the way that you know how to do it, and then you want to follow that path. Like if there's a tool that you use to do animations, you just stick to that path. But it's like just open to different perspective and experiences that people have, and then learning from them.
That is so beautiful. That's a perfect note to end on. I really love that. And feedback is such a valuable and important tool in making sure that we are creating really powerful products. Again, Polycore, I'm so excited and so grateful to have had you. There's been so much positive feedback in the LinkedIn live chat, so I'm excited about that. And how can folks follow you? Is there like a Instagram that you post on also when it comes to your personal work or anything like that as well outside of LinkedIn?
Yeah, I have Instagram, and it's mostly just art. So if you're interested in art, just go to PQUARME. Just follow me there. Just it would just be my art, and it's not really
Okay.
wouldn't
P
be too
at
personal.
PQ. Say it again.
PQUARME.
Okay, so PQUARNE.
Yeah, ME.
N as in Nancy.
M as in Mary.
Oh, child. Listen, see. That's awesome. Okay, I went ahead and dropped that in the chat, so you guys can go ahead and follow him on LinkedIn. Instagram. We also dropped the link for Polycore's LinkedIn as well. So go ahead and connect with him. Ask him all the questions because child, he is the bomb. Again, Polycore, we are so grateful to have had you. Thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, thanks so very much. Have a wonderful rest of your week and Black History Month.
Thank you. Thanks for
You're
having
so
me.
you're so welcome. Absolutely. Again, thank you all so very much for joining us. Polycore is absolutely fantastic. please take advantage of connecting with him. As you can see, he's super nice and super down to earth. You don't really see that a lot of times within folks. And for him to take out his time today is absolutely incredible. Again, thank you all so very much for tuning in. Like I said, we have the giveaways. We have our merch store. Child, I'm looking for the merch. We have really cool tumblers like this one. Also in the back, it says, again, Black History Month as well. We have t-shirts as well, which is not, I didn't put it over here, but that's all right. But again, you guys can check that out all on our Etsy store. So etsy.com/shop/mentorme collective, or you can just go to etsy.com and search the Mentor Me Collective, and you should see us on there. Again, we have our wonderful photo booth. So let us know that you guys tuned in today. The photo booth that you guys can go ahead and use. I'm actually going to put the QR code back here. Go ahead and scan. Let us know that you guys came here. It's covering my face. I know that's okay. But go ahead and scan this QR code. It should take you directly to our photo booth. And as you go ahead and do that, please let us know that you guys were there. Okay. Again, we do have another session happening tomorrow. Tomorrow that happens, again, same time, 6 p.m. It's going to be user research. So user experience research. So if you guys are excited and want to learn more about user experience research, please go ahead and come on in. It's going to be, again, on LinkedIn Live, okay? Come with all your questions. I mean, it's going to be with someone from Adobe. She is absolutely incredible, Shantae. So we're looking forward to having her and looking forward to seeing you all. I'm so excited to have had you guys here. Wishing you all a wonderful rest of your wonderful evening. And again, want to wish you all a happy Black History Month. Make sure you guys are following us on Instagram, y'all. Go ahead and head over to Mentor Me Collective on Instagram. Like I said, YouTube, Facebook, child, all the things. But most importantly, if you guys are looking for mentorship, free mentorship, head on over to our website at mentormecollective.org. Click on mentorship in the top navigation, and you should go ahead and click to become a mentee. Okay, apply to become a mentee. Not everyone is going to get chosen. We're only choosing about 30 to 40 people, I believe. So looking forward to possibly seeing one of you all there. Looking forward to connecting you all. Oh, to text the number. Thank you so much, Daniela, for letting me know. Text MMC to 9. Child, hold on. Y'all, they're not going to do this to me. Hold on 1 second, child, because Chanel is. Give me a second. I'm going to put it in the banner. Text MMC to 866-901-1914. And that's how you can go ahead and enter into our, not only the giveaway, but also be alerted every time we go live for a Black History Month event. Because we have 3 more events happening this week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then we have 2 more happening next week. We have it with LinkedIn, Headspace, Microsoft, Adobe, the NBA, y'all. The whole NBA, okay? So we're so excited to have you all here and join us. Make sure you guys share this broadcast. Let people know we're going to leave it here live for people to come back and be inspired and learn and grow. But please go ahead and share this with your network. Let them know that we are in the building. All right. Again, very excited. Shout out to my amazing team. Shout out to my CEO, Javon, the people operations manager / coordinator / all things. Dominique, I appreciate you so very much for helping us. And yeah, I cannot wait to see you all tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3 p.m. PST, Pacific Standard Time. Wishing you all a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Bye, everyone.